Just finishing up a tour here with first-time buyers, and we're gonna head to one of our other developments to meet some other clients. But in the meantime, since I just talked to this couple about how to buy a home, figured we could lock down the house and have a chat as well. I actually met this couple a while ago, before they were even ready to buy something. They came into one of my open houses as a neighbor. We hit it off, started talking, and they said, yeah, we're trying to buy something eventually. Like everybody, you know, most people who come into open houses, they just want to buy something eventually. So we ended up going out, grabbing a coffee, had a chat, and said, listen, like the number one mistake people make when they want to buy a home is that they wait to get everything ready without talking to professionals to figure out if they even could buy when they wanted to or what they bought. They did exactly that. They went to, you know, a mortgage calculator online and they put in how much they make and they did all of that and it spit out some value. And now we're here actually looking at houses because they're ready. And guess what? When they talked to a real mortgage professional and they gave them all of their criteria, they were actually approved for way more than the mortgage calculator online. And so what I always stress to people, especially first-time home buyers, is those calculators aren't gonna give you the whole story. A mortgage professional is gonna be able to take all of the little bits and pieces of who you are, what you do, and they're gonna be able to paint the picture of what you can afford and when you can afford to do it. And sometimes that means talking to them like a year, like these people, ahead of when they actually wanted to buy. They needed to clean up some credit, they needed to get down some debt, they needed to do things that were gonna put them in the position to buy, but they didn't actually even know that they had to do those things until they talked to a mortgage professional. And if they hadn't, it would have taken them probably another year to figure it out on their own. So whether you are immediately looking to buy like right now, or you're just even like, I hope I can buy in the near future, I'm renting, I don't want to rent anymore, let me figure out how can I buy, what I can afford, but I feel I'm not going to talk to a mortgage professional or a real estate agent because I'm imposing and I'm not doing business with them right now. That's not how it goes. You need to talk to those people so that you can figure out what plan you're going to take to actually get you to the place you want to be. So that's the big thing, is you got to talk to the professionals before you're ready. That's the number one piece to house shopping and what you need to do. This house in particular for this couple was outside the geography they gave me and it was above their price point. And if we work together, I will always push the geography and push the budget. And it's not to get you to spend more money, but a lot of folks come in and tell me like, let's make it up. We have $1.5 million to spend on a home. Great, that's a huge budget. In Los Angeles, might not go as far as other places, but it's still a good budget. And they say, oh, we're willing, you know, we want to live in Culver City for $1.5 million and we're willing to do some work. But when they actually see what $1.5 million in Culver City is gonna buy and how much work they would have to put in and how long that would take and the fact that they would have to carry their mortgage and their rental because you can't live in the place that you're doing work to for most people, the money just doesn't add up. And so we look at things that are outside of the budget, not beyond the scope of reality for them to afford, but just saying like, let's say you buy that house for $1.5 million and you're gonna put 100 or 200 into it, you might be better off paying a higher mortgage and getting something that you don't have to do that to. Now that's not for everybody, but for most people, they don't actually want to take the time, energy, and spend the money to do so. So we look at things that are outside the budget for that reason, because it is more cost efficient to buy something a little more expensive than actually have to put the cash out for doing renovations. And you don't know what exists outside of your price point if you're only limited to looking in that like little Zillow window of up to whatever your budget is. And so we like to see like, oh, could I get this? Oh, do we need to wait a little longer, put a little more money aside, figure out how we can get more creative to actually buy something like this that we really want to live in? And then geographically, you almost have to push the boundaries in this market. There's so little inventory that if you don't, you're gonna be trapped into like 3 homes that come about every year. So I always push both of those so that can help you. The goal when we start working together on the buy side is that you tell me everything you want and it's the big top of the funnel. And we go out and see as much as possible, and I want to see it with you in wherever you want to be, wherever you think you want to be, a few homes that I'm going to take you to that are outside the budget and outside the geography. And day by day, text by text, week by week, we start chiseling it down so that a couple weeks into it, 2 or 3 weeks into the process, we're only seeing homes that are going to fit the strike zone. And if we get to that 2 or 3 week mark and we're not seeing homes in the strike zone, then we reevaluate the entire system and figure out if your priorities need to change, if concessions need to change, if geography or money needs to change, whatever needs to change, we're gonna make that happen. I have yet, this is the biggest thing, I have yet to have a single client spend more than they anticipated on spending and regret the purchase. Nobody has spent more money than they anticipated on spending and regretted the purchase. Not a single person. Go, yeah. Because I can just, this is real. I have a cameraman, we're having a conversation. That's why I'm like, I can't always just think about it on the spot. I had a point, wherever I was going with it, I did have a point. Oh, search criteria. We expand it. That's always what we do. And I will tell you that 95% of my clients come in and say, we want to live in this specific area, in this kind of house. And 95% of them might live in a house that closely resembles what they told me they want to live in, but it is not in the area that they came in telling me that they had to live. That you have to get through your head, especially in a market, you know, in any market, it's difficult. You're going to give up, you're going to have concessions in what you're actually going to buy. And the home has to check, like, I tell people, like, if the home checks like 80%, 70% of what you thought you were going to get, that's a win. It just has to check the right 70 or 80%. But it doesn't matter if you build a house or have an unlimited budget. Those people don't get everything they want either. I've got clients who spend $4 or $5 million for a house and have $2 million to renovate, or they've got $10 million to build it from ground up, and they build it and they love it, but they're still like, oh, I wish it was here, or I wish this was there, or I wish I had done this or that. Doesn't make a difference. You can have unlimited money, you're still not gonna get everything you want. So when you're buying a home, and especially in your first home purchase, you gotta keep that in your mind that, like, you're not gonna get everything you want. It's a harsh reality. But again, I will go back to all of my clients. Every single one of them that's bought a home has loved the home and has fallen in love with it within like the first 8 seconds of walking into the home. Now, it might not be the first home that they fall in love with. I've had clients fall in love with a dozen homes that they didn't end up winning, but the one that they did, the guy said to me, I thought that we lost our home 11 different times, but now I realize that this home is the one I want to die in. Because that emotional connection is what matters. Everything I talked about previous to this has to do with like how much you can spend, what you want to buy, where you want to live, and all of that. But ultimately what ends up mattering is the emotional attachment to the house. This is the biggest financial purchase most people will make in their lives. It's also the biggest emotional purchase people will make in their lives, the biggest emotional decision people will make in their lives. And they try and discount it and shove that into a box and be like, I have to think about it more pragmatically, and I have to think about it with a more money-focused mindset. And you do, you know, day to day have to think about that. But unless you're buying an investment property, your emotions are gonna dictate what home you end up buying. Right now, we're going to the same developer as another development. And this one is in Los Feliz, where we were coming from, was Silver Lake. This one, we're gonna show, I'm not gonna tour you around, they don't wanna be on camera. I'm gonna do a little walkthrough, but basically these are a new couple coming in from the Bay Area. So they're used to a little more densely populated neighborhood. They're kind of used to vertical living. The dollar goes a little farther here than it does in San Francisco, shockingly. And they really want close proximity to lifestyle amenities. So this property is a block away from Hillhurst, which has like a ton of restaurants and coffee shops. I think we're actually, are we gonna go get a coffee right now? Yeah. Yeah, I think we're gonna go get a coffee right now before we go over there. And then we'll do a little walkthrough. It's a cool property, doesn't have a roof deck, slightly different palette And then these folks are looking for just kind of like the equivalent of what they call lock and leave, which you would get in a condo where someone's like overseeing and you can't get into the building. This is as close as you're going to get to it. It's 4 units. So we'll see. We'll see what they think. So the plan was to tour this home in Los Feliz with the couple that I was mentioning to you on the drive over here. But as it goes sometimes, something came up. They can't make it. So we will see them this weekend. I think they're going to come by the open house. And we're not going to tour this house now. Maybe you can check it out on another video. I think we're going to come back. Maybe Mike comes to an open house and we do a walkthrough then. But we'll see. We went over a lot in the video earlier about kind of like what we do with our buyers. But obviously it's specific to every person. And so if you're curious about what that might look like for you, my information is, I don't know, Mike, we'll put it up on the screen. Yeah. So we'll put it up on the screen, text, email, smoke signal, you know, drop a comment, follow along. We're going to be doing more things like this, more walkthrough, more day in the life. There was a crazy story. I don't know whether it'll make it into this one, but it'll definitely make it into a video of its own. So you got to come back and check that out. But I'm here to answer questions. I appreciate you guys stopping by and checking out the video. Let me know what you think. We're going to be doing a heck of a lot more of these. And so stick around. We appreciate it.